Hey everybody, Superintendent Gaham here. I haven't made a video in a little bit of time that just talk to you guys as opposed to teaching about levies and all those kind of things. So I figured what better time before our break to kind of give you a nice holiday send-off. Wish everybody a safe holiday season, and I'm looking forward to those 2 weeks off, but then seeing everybody back on January 4th, the students that is. So some things I wanted to update you on if you haven't been kind of following along with the board members and the board meetings and things like that. So one of the first things I wanted to say is starting the second semester, as you guys know, the way the world is right now, a lot of our people are just overstressed and overworked. So in our schools, our teachers are primarily the ones who are just spend a lot of their own personal time making sure that they can make the best education for your children. Our aides are doing the same thing. And so what we're going to do, and I have 6 days for you guys to write down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a 2 o'clock dismissal in the following 6 days, 1 or 2 a month. And what that allows me to do is tell those teachers from 2 to the end of the day, that is just your time to plan lessons for your students. Make sure those students get the best out of you and that those lessons are engaging, because we're aware that there's 18 months of learning loss. And so we need those teachers to have really engaging lessons more now than ever. So those days, if you want to write them down, I'll send them in an email as well, are January 12th, January 15th, February 10th, March 15th, April 27th, and May 12th. So those, again, are January 12th, January 25th, February 10th, March 15th, April 27th, and May 12th. So those 6 days will have a 2 o'clock dismissal for all district, and then that'll allow our teachers to have a little bit extra time to plan those engaging lessons for your students. So I appreciate your understanding in that situation, and hopefully by me sending it out now, you can make any kind of arrangements over the break and then over the rest of the semester to take care of that. Secondly, I know I sent out an email. Our shield testing did start last week. We have about 140 students across the district who are partaking in it, and some staff. And so if you want your student to be part of that shield testing, just reach out to our nurses. I know I've sent out some opt-in forms if you want to go online and find those. So as a reminder, those tests are ones that we would quarantine from. So if in the last few weeks, if your child hasn't been sick, but they're asymptomatic and they test positive, the shield finds that, and that's why we're trying to make sure that we minimize the spread. Obviously, after Thanksgiving and before Christmas, we've had an increase in cases, as expected by the health department. We are not an anomaly here in Beecher. Actually, the health department has informed Angie and Lindsay that we're doing a really good job with how we're handling it and the paperwork that we're following up with. So, and kudos to our families with that. I mean, the big thing to remember is if your child's sick, keep them home. And then if you ever have a positive test, make sure you notify the nurse. One of the important things about the new guidelines in terms of testing positive, if it's an over-the-counter test and it's positive, the health department at one time was taking those and allowing those 90 days of kind of a buffer for not quarantining. Well, the health department has removed that. And so starting in January, if you have a positive over-the-counter test, they do require that you get a doctor's test and then submit that to the school. That way, if case of quarantine does happen, your child does have that 90 days of not needing to be quarantined because they were just positive. Again, and as always, communication is key. If somebody in your house is positive, just let Angie or Lindsay know. They'll ask you some questions. We just want to make sure that we're doing everything we can here to keep our school open. Because I know around the state, especially up north, there's been some schools that have started closing, that have started prolonging remote days. Some have even started closing down their sports. None of those things are things I want to do at all. I think extracurricular activities are paramount in a student's education, so I want to keep those as long as I can. So with that being said, obviously, coming back from break, I have zero intention of having those as remote weeks. I know some schools in the area are doing that. I trust our families that if they have gatherings and if there's cases, that they'll share it with us. the results, not the disease, will be shared with us. And then we can continue when we get back from break with a fantastic semester 2. So that's kind of where we're at with all those things. Some of the other things we've talked about on our board meetings and our conversations is if you are interested in being part of that committee that gets together and talks about the future, especially in terms of that levy and the limiting rate and the referendum that we would hope to be able to pass for our children's sake in June, go ahead and reach out to me. I know I can't have 45 people on a committee, but if someone's interested and it's one of those things that it works out for us 100%, let me know and I'll get back to you. So that's kind of where we're at. Other than that, enjoy your break. Just so you know, in case you're curious, my favorite Christmas movie is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the claymation version, primarily because I watched it all the time growing up. And yes, I consider Die Hard a Christmas movie, and so that's going to get some of you guys upset, but I do consider it a Christmas movie, though the other Die Hards aren't, which is weird. 2, my favorite Christmas song is sung by Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton called The Greatest Gift of All. If you've never heard it, I strongly recommend you go into it. No, I'm not a huge fan of Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas. Yes, I do know that is the #1 selling song of all time now. It overtook Bing Crosby's White Christmas, I think 5 or 6 years ago. Some other little nuggets of information in terms of Christmas. When it comes to Christmas Eve, I always spend that with my in-laws. And then on Christmas Day, I spend that obviously with my family. And then we drive out to my folks' house. So that's kind of how we spend Christmas. So there's a little snapshot of what Gaham does, the Gaham family does on Christmas, the music we listen to. My wife's favorite, by the way, is the Oak Ridge Boys CD. So if you don't have that, I'll go ahead and send Amazon an order on that one. That's a good one as well. So that's kind of where we're at. Again, I know it's a 7-minute video. That's why I didn't put in a phone call. You're welcome. Guys, it's been a long first semester. I get it. And I appreciate every second your students have been here and how much support you've given the teachers and the school. It's not lost. So continue doing the right thing. Continue sending your kids. We're going to continue having this building open. And please, please, please enjoy a very well-deserved break with your family. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys back on the 4th. All right, take care.